Alright, so today we're going to be looking at Elkhorn Peak, and we're taking the Malad Summit entrance and taking Trail 333 and coming out 334. So basically making a big loop. So first we're going up to 333, and this is a 50 inches or less. So a lot of people can just drive their four-wheeler up to the ridge and bypass a couple miles. But I did not do that. I just walked, and it's pretty flat for most of the way. Nothing too crazy. So Indian Mills, where we're going, that can lead over the mountain, but we're not going there. You can see it's just a really big trail for wheelers and motorcycles and such. You can see it's kind of getting a little steep. Here's Indian Mill Canyon, just me walking up the trail. And now it starts to get pretty steep and no trees for a while. There's a geocache I found. Has a good little view of the valley. Little load. So finally on the ridge, that goes down the other side to Indian Mill. In that area over there. And this is the quote-unquote trail on the ridge that's going to take us to the peak. So this trail is very bushwhacky, and it disappears a lot into just like brush, and there's a ton of fallen logs everywhere, so this part was not very fun. That's where we need to go. Still a ways away. And then here's just a little video. There's a ton of these grouse everywhere, and they would just, some of them even followed me around, but they mostly would just sit there and maybe fly away a little bit. They scared the crap out of me a lot because they'll just like explode out of a bush out of nowhere. They're just chilling in the tree. There we go. A lot of them. Getting a little closer. Still got some elevation to gain. Can finally see we're getting really close to it. There it is. You can see these cool cliffs. Here we are. There's a huge trail register rock thing up here. It's pretty impressive how big it is. And inside there's a little trail register that you can sign your name on, which I did. It was kind of hard to get out, and it was kind of scary because it was like shattered glass. Gotta finesse it out of there. But I actually had quite a few names on it, and one of it was just a couple weeks ago. So this gets some activity. There's a weird little wooden structure around one of these many markers up here. So I decided I wanted to try to loop down, so I was going to go down this really steep ridge to connect to the 334 trail. This guy looks like a little fellow. And you can see how steep it is. We finally did find a way down that wasn't a cliff. And we just went straight down this super steep cliff. Or not a cliff, more of a ridge. That's where we were. We are going down. And the trail is actually down this little ravine, so this is pretty steep. And eventually we do get close to the trail. Here we are on the 334 trail, finally. It was very bushwhacky and steep, not fun. But it may have saved a little bit of time, I don't know, I'm not sure. It made it more interesting, so we did it. So a couple more miles on this one. You can see all the leaves were falling, all the trees are pretty much dead. Those lazy Forest Service guys really need to get these signs fixed. That one looks good though, to Kent's Canyon. And here we are at the intersection that we started at. That's where we came from. That's where we're going back. So on the way back, of course, there's a moose right where I needed to be. It did not like me, I don't think. So I just kind of stared at it. I was like, this could be a problem. Just kept watching it. Did not want to get gored by moose. And then it went away. I said, well, that worked out. Nice. But then it came back across the trail again. It's like, well. So I went across the river and tried to look for it. I have no idea where it went, so just being careful. Thankfully, I did not get gored by the moose, but I was a little spooked because I didn't know where it was. And finally, I get back at the truck. No moose goring, and still no people at the trailhead. So I rate these hikes using 3 criteria: solitude, scenery, and difficulty. Solitude is how many people are hiking with you, scenery and good views, and the difficulty is how hard the hike is. So overall, solitude, I'd probably give it an 8. I think on a weekend and in the summer, probably get a lot more use. But still not a ton, especially when you're on the ridge and there's no like track for the 4-wheeler people to go on. It'd be pretty sparse, so maybe an 8. Scenery is a 7. The best views are obviously on the peak, and it had some cool cliff views. And then the rest are just like standard forest, river kind of stuff, so maybe a 7. And then for difficulty, I'd also give a 7. I think if you just went up the main trail and then didn't bushwhack and go down the ridge like I did, it wouldn't be as bad. And if you did my loop, it'd probably bring it up to like 7.5 maybe. And then the distance is kind of long. It was a little bit over 8 miles-ish. And again, on the ridge, there was a lot of bushwhack. So definitely not easy except for the first part, but not horrible. So I'd give it maybe a 7. So thanks for watching. Eat a York peppermint patty. Goodbye.